Parshas Yisro, a parsha from Matan Torah. Tana Rabbanan, steht in der Gemara, Tana Rabbanan, Pei Vav Amadeus and Shabbos, B'shishi b'chodesh nisnu aseres adibris l'Yisrael. So the Tana Kama holds that the Matan Torah is the Shishi on Shishi b'Sivan. Rabbi Yossi Ameh b'Shiva bo. Rabbi Yossi holds it was on the seventh day of Sivan, Shiva bo. So the Gemara says that the Kul Yam, everybody holds that on Rosh Chodesh Sivan it came into Midbar Sinai. So that's what it says in Chumash here. B'chodesh Hashlishi l'tzeis b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim b'yom hazeh bo Midbar Sinai. So the Gemara makes some kind of K'zayir Shavah, Hazeh, Midbar Sinai, that was on Rosh Chodesh. So everybody agrees that it was on Rosh Chodesh, and it came into Midbar Sinai, no problem. And so it's a machlokas, the Tana Kama and Rabbi Yossi, exactly when was the Nesinas Satara, when was Nesinas Aluchas, the Aseres Adibris. The Gemara also says here in Hakol Modim the B'Shabbos Nisna Torah. The Torah was given on Shabbos. Hagam there's a mandoma in the Pirkei Rebbe Lezer brings that a mandoma was the Erev Shabbos was Kabbalah Torah, but whatever. So that's a different Tana, whatever. But here in the Gemara states that Hakol Modim that Ben Sai Rav Yossi Sai Tana Kama that B'Shabbos was Nisna Torah. Fine. What happened? So the machlok, the Gemara says the machlok is between the two was exactly when was the Kviyah the Yarcha, whether what day was Rosh Chodesh Sivan. That's everybody agrees we came into Midbar Sinai on Rosh Chodesh. What day was it? A Sunday? Or was it a Monday? That's the machlok of Rav Yossi and Tana Kama. Fine. So anyway, I'll call upon him. The Gemara says like this. So the first day when Klai Yisrael came into Midbar Sinai, nothing happened over there on the first day because the chulsha the urcha, because they were shvach from traveling. So Mamela, nothing happened. On day 2 is when Moshe Rabbeinu started going up and having this the conversation with the Rebbeinu Shalom and accepting whatever, with hearing what the Rebbeinu Shalom says. He comes down, he goes back up, he tells the Rid. So on day 2, B'trei b'Shabbat Amar lehem v'atem tiyulim amlechas kahanim v'goy kodesh. So it was on the second day, meaning the second day of the week according to the Tana Kama, and Rabbi Yossi was a third day, whatever, it was a Tuesday instead of a Monday. But again, the pshat is that there was a mamlechas kahanim v'goy kodesh. So that's what it will state here in Pasuk. Moshe Allah Elokim v'yikrei lo Hashem min ahar leimor kol samar leveis Yaakov v'sagei levnei Yisrael atam reisem asher asisi leMitzrayim ve'esa eschem al kanfei neshorim ve'ovi eschem Eloi v'ato im shamoa tishma'u b'koli. So now, so this is the Rebbeinu Shalom. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up onto Har Sinai, and the Rebbeinu Shalom tells him, Im shamoa tishma'u b'koli u'shmartem es brisi v'yisem li segula mikol ha'amim. So he tells them a few things. If you shamea the tishma'u the koli v'shmartem es brisi v'yisem li segula mikol ha'amim ki li kol ha'aretz, and then he says v'atem tiyolem mili mamlechas kahanim v'goy kodesh. So then, so Moshe, so the Rebbeinu Shalom tells Moshe, go back and tell these words to Klal Yisrael. Say these things to Klal. So this was on the second day of the second day of Sivan. First day was the chulsha d'orcha, and then the second day was that nothing happened. The first day nothing happened, and the second day Moshe Rabbeinu went up and he told him what we just read. V'yisim li segula mikol amim. That's all. Now,
but there was like a chalais of something happened. V'yisim li segula.
Yeah. So this is according to what we were talking. The way our Mahadach is, and then the Seres Dibros was given on the 6th day or 7th day, according to whether you hold like Rabbi Yossi or the Tanna Kama. So Matan Torah, as we call it, Matan Torah was a few days there. But before Matan Torah, there was this V'hisam li segula. V'ata im shama tishmu el b'kali yishmartem as brisi v'hisam li segula mikol amim amtam tiyo li mamlachas kahani v'goy ki li kol la'aretz v'atam tiyo li mamlachas kahani v'goy kodesh. So that's very interesting. So according to what we were talking about the whole time, is the pshat is that there's a bechina from Knesset Yisrael, that there's a madur basra from the Adam Rishon. The Adam Rishon had all the, I don't know, I have the chazar again, but Adam Rishon had all the neshamas inside him, and he was the tikkun. He would have been a tikkun of the world. The tikkun of the Welt would have been the Bereshis b'shvil Torah b'shvil Yisrael. That would all be kuyim in Adam Rishon. After the chet, it was nispared from his neshama, all the neshamas. This, and now you need to have a bria in the floor called the Klal Knesset Yisrael in order to have like Ish Echad B'Lev Echad, this Madur Basra from Adam Rishon. So that bechira of, you have two things. You have a bechira of that Knesset Yisrael was on Yom Sheni B'Sivan. On that Yom Sheni B'Sivan, that was a bechira from B'nai Yisrael. This new thing that we said that we in the Korah Barzel that was created in Mitzrayim. So it wasn't Mitzrayim, was not just, there was the formation of this Bria in the floor called Knesset Yisrael, which is an unbelievable thing. We went through all the nafkaminas. This is B'Taras Mitzvah Va'osa and Nasa V'Nishma and all kinds and everything that's going on. But the pshat is all those bechinas of the Torah that we talked about, but this is all bichlal because there's a bria called because of Knesset Yisrael, and that bechira was on Yom Sheni. So yeah,
that Nasa V'Nishma by Matan Torah was on Monday.
No, the Nasa V'Nishma was after we got when was Nasa V'Nishma? Well, in our Chumash, in Chumash it says.
That was on Shabbos.
What?
That was on Shabbos. The Nasa V'Nishma.
Well, again, it's not clear. The Chazon Ish has a whole contrast on Matan Torah, and and Rashi in Pei Zayin, Amud Aleph in Shabbos has a whole sequence with a sequence of events. Because if you read the Chumash v'Yava Moshe v'Yikra l'Ziknei Am, that's we read pasuk Hey and Vav. And that is v'Yava Moshe v'Yikra l'Ziknei Am, and Kadosh Baruch Hu told him, Eila dvarim asher tedaber al b'nei Yisrael. And then nach them, so Moshe went and was daber al b'nei Yisrael. It's called dvarim Eila asher tzivo Hashem v'yanu kol ha'am yachto v'yamru kol asher diber Hashem naseh. So you won't find by the Sipur from the Maaseh from Kabbalah Torah. You won't find anything Nasa v'Nishma. All you'll see is a Nasa. Now in Mishpatim, at the end of Mishpatim Perek Chav Daled, there it says Nasa v'Nishma. And we know that there's a machlokus in the Ramban, and there's a machlokus in the Gemara really, but there's a machlokus between the Ramban and Rashi of that Maaseh in Mishpatim. Was that talking about Matan Torah? Was that talking about after Matan Torah? Mm-hmm. So according to the Ramban, it holds that it was after Matan Torah. So according to the Ramban, it's going to be close. So Nishkin Nasa v'Nishma in Chumash. This is Nasa v'Nishma. The Gemara says often that Migili Roz the Bonai that the Malchim Yashayis Mishamshim Bo. That this is a given. I don't think there's any mandoman at all, Chas v'Shalom, that says that there is no Nasa v'Nishma beHar Sinai. The shaila is whether it's a state before in Chumash as far as we know, it says Nasa over there. It could say by end of Mishpatim says Nasa v'Nishba, and it's a Shaila again. Whether that's when was that said? Was that said after Matan Torah? Was that said before Matan? After Matan Torah? Is that was said that was Matan Torah rather? So all right. Now the Gra says there's a Pirush Gra on Brachos that says that this two bechinas over here, what we just mentioned here, meaning Dahainu, that on Beis Sivan you have this Kabbalah, you have this Chosh Baruch Hu's Bocher, Knesset Yisrael. There was a form that was formed. The Yetziras Am Yisrael was formed on the. It was a havara, it was a mavir between the Eser Makkos brought us up to the Madrega, and we got to this, but it was also a Yitzir from Knesset Yisrael. So we said that Yitzir was kamat fartig on by Kriyas Yamsuf. If you remember last week, we asked two kashas. We asked kashas of why was there 5 makkos? Why was there more makkos? Finaf mul makkos, more makkos by in Kriyas Yamsuf than there was in Mitzrayim. Like, what's the Indian? Yeah, this is yad and this is etzba, but fortzov kosov. What is it? What does it mean? What was the Indian? So we came with nifli digazai. According to our mahalach, the pshat is that the Kriyas Yamsuf was almost the gemara from this Niflu de Gabriel called Knesset Yisrael. So just like Adam Rishon was the Yitzir Kappa of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it says in Bereishis Aleph Chav Zayin, that over there Rashi says, brings down the Furish, that the whole Bria was created with Dibura Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, except for Adam. Adam was created with the Kappa of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Yad of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Valta is Kappa of the Yad, so that's the Etzba and the Yad, that's where you get the Yad. So Memela, since Kriyas Yamsuf was that Madrega close, very close to the final, of the Yitzir of Knesset Yisrael. So that's why by the Yam there was five more, five times whatever makkos you want to have in Mitzrayim, according to each Tana, according to his Sharish and Shmos, according to the, but
and that Monday was when it was completed.
Yeah, no, Monday was when HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose. It was sometime before that, whatever, right then. But over there was when HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose. We'll see what that means. What does it mean he chose? But according to the Gra says that those are the two. When we make a bracha in the morning, what do you make a bracha? First is Lasa b'Divrei Sarah. Then the second bracha is Asher Bacha Arbonu Mikol Ha'amim V'Losan Lanu Esther Rosa. Those are the Zokta Gra, those are the two madregas. Asher Bacha Arbonu Mikol Ha'amim. When was that?
Gemara says Yodei also on Shemayim Boretz.
Why?
Av Yodei Yosed Oretz, Mesim Shotzadikim.
Yeah, they want service, whatever. But that's but whatever. I don't know what that is not getting to right now. But this Yitzir from Klai Yisrael was Asher Bacha Arbonu. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose on Beis Sivan. Asher Bacha Arbonu. That's the bracha. Asher Bacha Arbonu. V'Nosan Lonu Es Terosa. That's on whatever, according to Rabbi Yossi, according to Rabbanan. That's 3-4 days later, right? So it's very interesting to Zach. So I had asked you last week two shilas at the beginning. I asked you why first was there more makkos. What's the Indian of more makkos by Mitzrayim? But we never really got around to the teretz of the second one was why by Kriyas Yamsuf you find a nifla de gazach because of the halolo. There was a din over there that the malachim were mekatrigim was a halolo of the Avodah Zarah, halolo of the Avodah Zarah. So we never really answered that. You asked it right away before. You thought that was answered in that, but the Chanami. This is something that we really didn't get to the answer to that of why there was a midas adin over there. So there's
a difference between Makkos B'choros. There was Atam Leseitzu Yishu Pesach Beisoy. You sit in a separate place. You do it down Pesach Damila, not to be together with Mitzrayim. And the Yamsuf, they were halol. They're both in there together.
Okay, I hear you, But so of course, I mean, there was a bit. I'd rather be on our side than their side, whatever. Like that.
But that was
wasn't too close, you know. I don't think, you know. But I hear what you're saying. It could be this. I hear what you're saying. But right now, so again, with according to the Mahalach is the pshat is what do we have by Adam Arishan? Karam Echet. What would happen on Yom Yitziroso? Yom Harasolam. It was a Rosh Hashanah. Oh, when Rosh Hashanah was Yom Adin. So the pshat is a memela. The pshat is a nifla to gezach. It was given on Yom Adin of Rosh Hashanah. Was on Yom Yitziroso of the Adam Arishan. So we can expect on Yom Yitziroso of the Madura Basra of Adam Arishan was a Yom Adin. So if you're telling me that there's a certain Eza Bechina that we have, there's the Yitzhir from Klai Yisrael, Knesset Yisrael was on this. So just like we have the Yad of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because that was the Yad which was in the Yitzhir's Kap of Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that was the Yad of the Yitzhir's Kap of the Eilad on Yam Suf. So in Veilad of Shas, you also have Yom Harasalam. It comes very beautiful. It's not Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, you don't have it. You could have had the same thing. Would they deserve anything? Any kind of makas, whatever. Halal halal. So it comes out very beautiful.
What is the dinner on Pesach on the Tvur?
What?
On the Pesach, the dinner on the Tvur.
Yeah, because there's a besonder Rosh Hashanah, the Gzeiris Rosh Hashanahs, you know, whatever. But that's.
I was wondering on Sukkot, the dinner malamayim is throughout the whole. It's like a 7-day process. It seems like it starts with the Shana. Is there any?
All right. We spoke.
Is there even Koram Pesach? As we also hear, you talk Rishon Shel Pesach and Shvi Shel Pesach. Is there some correlation with the din extends through the whole thing? I mean, the Gemara says Avi Omer Pesach.
Right.
As the din, but that's the second day.
Right.
But maybe it's Nimshach till the end of the same way.
It could be. I hear what you're saying, but this is clear, right? You know, this is like, you know, but that I don't know. You have to look into it. But if they're good, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying.
He's saying the tongue of Kriyas Yam, so it was going to Yom Adin because it was a Yitzhira.
That was the Yitzhira of Knesset Yisrael. And if we take a zach.
But if it was the process started, like we said a few weeks ago, by in
Mitzrayim, by the Makkahs, by each Makkah was
it didn't finish by Kriyas Yamsuf.
Kamat finished. It was in a certain Bechina was finished, but a little bit more to go, and you know another.
But by when Adam Rishon by Hayom Har Salem,
right?
That was the culmination, right?
Right.
Adam was created.
Right, you're good. You're very good, but good because that's our point. That it should be the hishtavus between this bria and that bria, and then Achanami. You're saying good, but I hear what you're saying. Laftas ma'ayin zayin a bissel, but for right now, this is but it comes out a nifla dikazach though. The pshat is, what was the din on by Adam Yom Harasolam, whatever? There was no time to do anything. What are you donning? What did the guy do? He couldn't do anything yet. You understand? So what was the din? What was this? So it comes out very very nifla de gazach that the din of and why does it that on a yitzira? Why is there a din? Why? Because just because it's a Yom Harasolam, so there's now a din. Why? Yabit b'mishpah. What's the point? I thought you don somebody, you come and you did something wrong, and you could bring him in, and you don what to do with the fellow and stuff like that. There's now all of a sudden now your guy's created. Whoop, the din. What happened? So it comes out nifladik over here that you see the din is like this. The reason that there's a din is because the Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't create anything which is extra, which is insist with nothing. Everything has a purpose, has a tachlis to it, has specific tachlis to it. So Mamela, dos is the din. Is the din is why was this necessary to be created? Not a din on the particular mice of the pshat of the person, like maybe he did something, what he did and stuff like that. That's not the issue exactly. So that's for sure by Adam Rishon like that. There was nothing happening over there, and then all of a sudden you're making Yom Harasolim. What happened? So it says no, because the din is that was it necessary to create this? You had all the whole brias. You had the Ma'isa Achron from Ma'isa Bereishis was this Adam, and then so the Shai said, was it necessary to make this Adam? Was this was the sof Ma'isa b'machshava techila? Was that necessary? So the Shai said that's called Ma'isa. That's the din. That's the din. So that's what's going on over here also. Is if you tell me you have a Yitzira from Klai Yisrael, you have this Knesset Yisrael, halalo of the Avodah Zarah, halalo of the Avodah Zarah. What's this big deal? You're making a Knesset Yisrael for? You don't. It's not pshat. We're donning them because you were of the Avodah Zarah. So then you don't get. What's the difference? What the goyim do? What's the goyim? Halalo. No, halalo. Say halalo of the Avodah Zarah. They don't deserve and say because the tshuva whatever they have some kind of limud zchus whatever. So what's halalo? Tell says no. Halalo does not mean the pshat is that halalo means that is there a necessity for this new bria? What's the necessity for this new bria? Halalo of the Avodah Zarah, halalo of the Zarah. It's not a kitrig that you're being of the Avodah Zarah. It's a kitrig that you don't have to be created. There's no oftu of your bria. Oh, no oftu of the bria. So that's taka something. You have to say we have to come up with a hamtzor. What boss is given the mila? Those is given the kitrig. Halalo. What's the mila? And that's a kitrig. That's not a kitrig. That's a kitrig in the etzem bria.
Hello sounds like you're going on Mason that happened.
I understand you. Right. So that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you a chiddush that another way of understanding this Yom Adin, and it's mochrach from Adam Rishon like that. You understand? What was the Yom Adin? Why was a Yom Haras Olam? Was a Yom Adin Yamid b'Mishpat? What for? If you did a virus, the Yom Sheni is just as good as Yom Shlishi, is just as good as Yom Rishon.
So it should have nothing to do with Avodah Zarah. You see, it's
no. So right.
Something that's a necessity.
So that's the taina, because you're telling me this bria is special. This is going to make a tikkun of the olam. So there's that taina. Them. Well, wait a minute. They're Avodah Zarah. They're Avodah Zarah. What's the? I don't see anything special here. I say nish the mila, the grosser mila of this bria. And exainish the grosser mila of the bria. So mila just it shouldn't be. Das is a taina. Not because you're Avodah Zarah. You're Avodah Zarah. It's a taina. You're Avodah Zarah. So what's the top with the Yanim is Avodah Zarah. It has to do with you were Avodah Zarah. So we have over the Avodah Zarah already. We got plenty of them around. It's a wholesale. You can buy them wholesale. You understand? Like we don't. What's the point of this bria here? Oh, so das is a taka zach. Taka kitchen. What?
Is it on all Yitzirus?
Yeah, but then again, this is you're telling me this is the ikr. You said this is like man a grade off to. I'm making the a nifla digazach, a nifla digabri and stuff like that. This is up for we have to determine over here. Even the Rebbeinu Shalom made it, but the Rebbeinu said, let's see, halalu. That's what the taina was. A very beautiful, interesting, it's a Santa Taina, that's it's a Santa Taina. It's good. So this is the again. So we have this Be'ato Im Shemoa Tishma'u The Kali Ushmartim as Brisi, V'isam li Segula Mikol Amim, Ki li Kol Aretz. Then it says V'atem Tiyuli Mamlechus Kana V'Goy Kodesh. Good. So that's what it means over here. Rashi in the Targum, all the Targum say Ukan im Kabbalah Tekablon LeMemri. Is we're having a Kabbalah if Klai Yisrael, this new Knesset Yisrael, this Bria, that the floor that you said that now was created, if they are Mekabel Memri, if they are Mekabel the words of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Tzivuyim of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? So then Ushmartem es Brisi. What's Ushmartem es Brisi? Zocht Rashi, Ushmartem es Brisi she'echros imochem al shmirus haTorah. First, you're Mekabel. You're Mekabel. Let's see, Klai Yisrael. You're Mekabel. This Knesset Yisrael. Mekabel. The word Kadosh Baruch Hu. Malchusa. You're Mekabel Malchusa. This is all going on before Matan Torah. This is all Hakdama to the Nesinas Torah, which is going to be later, a few days later. You understand? But over here, we're talking about that there's a prerequisite to this of this Knesset Yisrael. Halolo. You understand? Is Abshaz. But now we want to know: are you Mekabel the Malchusa Shal Kadosh Baruch Hu? That's what it's in Shlomo Tishp'u. Are you Mekabel? Are you Mekabel the words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Ushmartem es Brisi. Are you Echros the Bris Torah? The Bris Torah. You Mekabel the Bris Torah. So according to the way we said before, the Pshat is last week before was the Pshat is that these are Dibris. When we're coming to accept the Seres Dibris, is the Dibors with the Mekablim. So now it's a very, very beautiful thing. Is if you, Klai Yisrael, you, B'nai Yisrael, are going to be Mekabel, the Ribbana Shalom, so Mamela, the B'shas, just like there's Ein Melech below Am, so the Am is Mekabel Malchuso, so obviously what there has to be that the Melech is Mekabel the Am. This is the Melech is Mekabel the Am, right? That's the Zeigetis. Just like you, Mekabel, because that is a gate hand in hand with the together, Sizamen. Then that's the Dibra. That's going to be the Dibras, which are the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now you're Mekabel my Malchuso, and I'm Mekabel you, and this is the Tefillin Shel Kadosh Baruch Hu, and it's Tefillin Shel the Klai Yisrael. I'm Echad Ba'aretz, but it's a Muzayin. You understand? It has to be like that. That once Klai Yisrael Im Shlomo Tishp'u, if you're Mekabel the Ribbana Shalom, you're Mekabel Malchuso. So Mamela, and what happens? And Yishmartem es Brisi. What brisi? What kind of bris are we talking about? We're talking the bris Torah. Rashi says, Shmirus HaTorah, the bris on Shmirus HaTorah. So then you're going to be an Am Segula. V'yisi li Segula Mikol Amim. You're going to be a Segula Mikol Amim. I say and that's the prerequisite. Now, what does it mean? This is an Am Segula Mikol Amim. What's mentos? I mean, you tell me Mekabel, I'm Mekabel the Malchus of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and I'm Mekabel them. You're Mekabel us. So it's great. It's great. So what does it mean? You're now an Am Segula. What happens now that you became an Am Segula? So Rashi says the Am Segula is Otzer Chaviv. V'segaltu malachim klik yakar v'avanim tavos whatever shemalachim guns in osam. Kach atem tiyulu segula mishar umas. You have to hear this good. Very, very nifla de Garashi. It's very darkest de Garashi over here. He says that Kach atem tiyulu segula mishar umas. You're going to be a school to me from Shar umas. What does that mean? V'lo tomra atem levadchem shali. Very, very integral and nakuda over here. You don't say that I'm taking you and nobody else. That's what it means. You're going to be my school and to the exclusion of everybody else. No, that's not pshat. It says v'yisem li skula mikol ha'amim kili kol ha'aretz. You're going to be a school to my school of mikol ha'amim. Doesn't mean from all the other. It means above all the amim. I love them also. They're great and wonderful. But mikol ha'amim, you're going to be the school above them. Not in b'makim there. Below Tomer atam levatkem shali. I'm not telling you only Klai Yisrael is mine. There's nobody else. Just Klal Yisrael belongs to me. No, everything belongs to the Rebbeinu Shalom. What do you mean? So what does that mean? So Rashi goes on and saying, how is that nicker? Because li kol haaretz. That's where you have the sakara. But it's very integral likud over here, right? Is the pshat is that not you're not b'makom everybody. You are above everybody. I'm taking you as I'm segula above. And what's the difference between the two? What's
There's a huge difference.
Yeah,
I'm saying that means that Muslims are Rebbeinu Shalom's nation also, right?
not his nation, but they're his breed.
Belonging, a giraffe also belongs to Rebbeinu Shalom.
Right. Ve'ein li acherim mimochem. That's not the pshat. V'lo tamru atem levatchem sheli ve'ein li acherim mimochem. Yeah.
So that sounds like those nations are a chosen nation also, right? They're just
Not chosen.
Are above that.
Not chosen, but they're mine.
What does that mean? Everything says.
Right. So don't say when it means that the Klal Yisrael is Am Segula, means we're his and nobody else belongs to him. No, they all belong to him. They all belong to him. You're going to be a skula from in relationship to the other ummas. You're going to be a skula.
Meaning that they're the Rebbeinu Shalom's nation also.
No, they belong to him. They belong. I mean, I don't know. We're talking a little semantics over here, but the pshat is that it's something that. Yeah, whatever. It's something that we have to understand. What is the difference between being somebody that we are mishar umos means we're a skula. We have to know what the school is. We're otzer chaviv. We're otzer chaviv. That this is an otzer and this is an otzer chaviv. You know, the rest of the umos are otzer, but this is an otzer chaviv. What's this otzer chaviv? So according to the way we're saying it. You understand? So it's the Otzer Chaviv because Al Yedei Knesset Yisrael, this bria called Knesset Yisrael, there is now the tikkun. We have a Heichat Himsa of a kiyum from Bereshis Bar Elokim B'Shvil Yisrael B'Shvil Torah B'Shvil Yisrael. That you can't have. They don't have by the Ummos Olam. You understand? They may belong to me, but the B'Shas but they don't. So you're an Otzer Chaviv. You're special in that respect that just said al yodchem, we can have a kiyum of my makshava of the bria from Bereshis Bar Elokim. But don't say the so why can't you say that also that you are my skula, you are my because if I say you're my skula and nobody else is a skula, so then you don't have to be an otzer chavim, you can be just an otzer. You're an otzer, nobody else is an otzer, right? So skula means over here the pshat is that there's the chavivus that's existing over here is when you have chavivus, you have to have something which is not so chaviv. There has to be a juxtaposition. You have to have something to relate it to. Otherwise, what's the chaviv here, right? Oh, this is chaviv. So is there something not chaviv? I mean, it's everybody wins the prize. You understand? It's like America. You know, everybody gets the prize over here. There says no. The pshat says no. You get the prize. You're a otzer chaviv, but the ummos olam are an otzer.
So why does Rashi have to stress that? We know that the Rebbeinu Shalom owns everything, right?
Right.
He owns behemoths. He owns everything, right?
Right.
So he owns nations. He owns people. So why does he have to stress that they also belong to the Rebbeinu Shalom?
When you're saying that it's that all the other ummas are oitzer, and we're oitzer chaviv, does it mean that every bria that's not a person, not people, are they also oitzer?
Maybe not. No,
that's the difference.
Right, but he wants to know what's the difference between ummos olam and klal yisrael.
Oitzer chaviv and regular oitzer, and then you have other things that are.
You know what that means?
I don't know what it means,
That's
but
the words, but
is a darga above. It's a darga above. But I'm saying other briyas also belong to the Rebbeinu Shalom, but they're not oitzer.
like the Kuzma says, there's Adam and then Yisrael. What's the
Zman
Right.
HaShroshim, they were shaykh to the
Yeah, the next dark, but the shayt, we're trying to give words to it. Like, what does it mean? What's the significance
Zman
of it?
HaShroshim, they had the same
significance is a yid
And now, once
could
the
bring down the world,
Could
bring down this
they
world.
could join us. But
bring
they-
down? What do
The
you
same
mean
way
bring
it could be Masak, and it has the Nefesh Chaim says a person, a yid,
the Yitzchak
could
was-
destroy the
they had
world.
ability to
down?
be-
Yeah, but I don't think that's why it's called Otzer Chava, because we have the right, we have the ability to destroy the
The
world.
same way we have the Yichels to be Masak.
So each one of their own.
I heard you, but I don't know if that's the reason why we call it Otzer Chava, because we have a reason that we have the ability to be machriz of health. We're called Otzer Chava because we're Knesset Yisrael. We have the right, we have the ability. Tzazamen, we have. There's a yichud in Klal Yisrael that the pshas that also and that can have a tikkun of the bria of Reishis B'Shvil Torah B'Shvil Yisrael. And they could be an ulcer. They could have a combination, and they get this, whatever they are. But the pshas, but they're not. They're not the Otzer Choviv. That's I just want to bring the Rashi is very clear on that. Rashi is bringing out this Nakud over here, that this is what's going on.
So by Nineveh, it wasn't just the goyim. He says the Harbi Behemoth also, right? Behem Ram.
Right,
There was Shavit with the goyim.
right.
So I say the reason why it's an oitzer maybe is not just that it's a Adam, that they're Adam. Maybe they're Shavit with Behemoth.
The Shavah Behemoth is not that the Behemoths are also Otzer. No, the pshat is that it's the pshat is that fikir. It was less mila. It was like when Gans Mitzrayim, when they come running and chasing after Klal Yisrael, so the pshat said they were like Ish Echad. They were like Ish Echad. They were only Choshev ki Ish Echad. Why? Because the pshat is that's there's an omek that the pshat is that anybody else is Yechidim in the world. Just like an Adam is Nivra Yachid, as a Yachid, so Zeh geblieben the Yechidim. Everything is Yechidim. Even when you have an Ummah, so but it's an Ummah, it's a combination, it's a conglomeration of Yechidim. Mashenka and Klayis, this is the point, is that the Nifla de Gabriya is that we're all one. We're all the Yesh Shishi Riba Asis Latera. The Pshat is that we're all a chelik of the kiyam of that tzura from Klayis, of Adam Barishan. All the Shishi Riba Nashamas, which is the tzura from Klayis, and those neshamas can be broken up into many, many parts and stuff like that. And that's why you can have millions of people, and you can have 15 million yidden running around. The pshat is but enachanami. So what happened to the shishim riba and neshamas? It is, and neshamas can be broken up into different parts also. But the etzem and the kuda from Klal Yisrael, the etzem surah from Klal Yisrael, is this the otzer chaviv, is the shishim riba and neshamas. That's the surah, and that's and that's what's mesak in the welt. Again, of B'Shvil Torah, B'Shvil Yisrael, B'Shvil Torah. It's only through that nekuda from the Yichud, from Knesset Yisrael. So Mamela, it's a very niflitic azach.
What gives that Malyusa?
How was that created, you mean?
Yeah.
So that was through the core bars of Mitzrayim and through the Asamakis. You went from and so we explained last week, I think, the trust that was the dibur when the Kadosh Baruch Hu communicates with Klal Yisrael. So the dibur, the diburs exist only with Klal Yisrael. They don't. You need the not the recipients to, but the dibur with Klal Yisrael. That makes Klal Yisrael the Mesaknei Abriya. That there was a tikkun of the dibur with. I thought, we said before, we walked there, it was like, that's like there's ein melech below am. When Klal Yisrael mekabel im shama tishmu, and the Rashi, the guy from the Targum Yeronson, Targum, the Onkelos, the Pshara said that's im mekablim. If you're mekabel, so the Pshara said then, vahisim li segula, mikol amim. Because why? If you're Makabel, so I Makabel you. It has to be, because Ein Melech below Am. So if you're Makabel Malchusi, you're Makabel Malchusi. So the Pshar said, what's the Melech going to do? He has to Makabel the Am. It's the Melech and Am are one identity. It's Kuch Bericha V'Araisa Yisro Echad. So Mamela the Pshar said that's what makes that's the and that Chibur is now you want to know exactly what the process was in order to get to that. What's the difference between the 600,000 Yidden after Yitzias Mitzrayim and 600,000 Yidden before Mitzrayim?
Right.
It's this one. That's what you're really asking.
Right.
That's what you want to know. Like what's
right. So that's the Mishnah says Chavav Adam should never be Tzelem, Chaviv Yisrael should never be Bon.
Yeah. Shahodia lehem shenikru tzelem. Shahodia lehem shenikru tzelem. They are called tzelem, but chaviva Yisrael, there was a extra chavivas that Hakadosh Baruch Hu allowed us to be cognizant and visendik of that we are called tzelem Elokim. That was the chavivas. So because once a person knows that responsibility, he's a part of the whole. Even though Arvis only came in through when Klal Yisrael came into Eretz Yisrael, and then by Har Grizim, Har Evil, so then there was an Arvis that was that Arvis of the Klal Yisrael's Arabian Zel is but there was that unity of Klal Yisrael existed. So you want to know exactly what the process was of how did it become like that, and Tachlis. You want to talk Tachlis, the recipe for how to create an Am Echod from Klal Yisrael. I don't know. You need to go through the lager for 86 years and spend more time in Mitzrayim, and you got to be able to this and then you need the Makkos, and each Makkah brought it up. It was I don't think it was a thing we could understand the process exactly, but then it was Dibur. What I explained before, there was a Bechina from Dibur that didn't exist before this. Before there was a Sarah Maimarish Olam Nivra, which was enough for an Adam Arishan, because everything was contained within him. So there could have been a Tikkun Avelt from his avodah, even though he was an Eino Matzuv of a Osa, and he was a Nishma of a Nasa, and all the things now. But that was not existing. The Bechina from an Am Echod, the Knesset Yisrael. That's something that only exists, and so I tried to explain it. It means that the Sabres Ozen is in order that a person can understand that there was a dibur. There was now a relationship between the Rebbeinu Shalom and this Am Echod over here, which didn't exist outside of that. And the relationship where each part of us are really part of a whole. That was never existing. Something there was no whole. There was no shleimus in anything except the Yechidim.
Did that come by Parchon Shmalson?
No, it's not sometime exactly. You want me to pinpoint? I don't know. I know by Kriyas Yamsuf it was Kemat there. There was a tzur from this Knesset Yisrael, and by Bei Sivan when they already said Vatem Tiyuli Mamlechas Kanim V'Goy Kodesh, when it said V'Yisam Li Am Segulo, so that was Bechiras Am, like the girl says. That's Asher Bachar Banu. The Kadosh Baruch Hu chose us, meaning Klal Yisrael, and that was Shon Fartik. It was already Knesset Yisrael. But you see Li Am Segulo, the Am Segulo, we said there was an Am Segulo. There was Am Segulo there. So the Skula was the Chavivus that a Kadosh Baruch Hu has, which comes from we now have that ability to be sack in the world. That's what we said before, that there were 626 kilo chasdas in Halo Gadol in Kapitel Kuf Lamed Vav, and that's the 26 dairis that Kadosh Baruch Hu was on. And first says Olam with Chesed, Not any part of their avoda was enough to be mime in the world, because the world needed Yisrael, and there was no Yisrael. Even though there was the koches of Yisrael, and Yaakov Avinu, he had the Shiftei Kol, where was a koches bekoch of Yisrael, but it wasn't in B'Pol Mamish Yisrael yet of Klal Yisrael. So that was, and that was the Bechiras Am, and the Bechiras Am means that my Dibur is going to be with my Dibur, which is a partnership, which is a shutuf between Kudsha Bericha and Yisrael. So that's with Klal Yisrael. So that's more than that. I can't. It's not whatever it is. It is. That's what I want to explain to you. But. And Mamela, that was the Metzias of Din. That was the Metzias of Din that we said. The Pshat is that when Din is, the Pshat is that this Am Skula, we had asked last week, what was the point of the halalo by Kriyas Yamsuf, it didn't exist by anything else, and we said that the Yetziras Am, it creates Din. Yetzira creates Din. What's the Din? The Din is the Pshat is, so why are you being created? Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't create anything from zist. So that's everything, a justification. Halalo of the Avodah Zarah, halalo of the Avodah Zarah was not pshat, because you don't need halalo of the, if you're Avodah Zarah, so you make a din. I'm Avodah Zarah. What's my din? So we went through this. So that's and it's mulchach from Adam Rishon like that. There was nothing happening. Why was it Yom Haras Olam? There's already Yamid Mishpat. Why? What for? There was what din? He didn't do anything wrong yet. So the Torah says, no. That's the justification for a bria, from a new thing. Is the Pshat said that's what's for din. You need din for that. You need din because the Rishon doesn't create something for nothing. Doesn't create for no reason. So Mamela the Pshat said that's the din over here. So Mamela Pshat Sarwatanya, that's the Vayisimli Am Segula Mikol Amim. Kili Kol Aretz. What's this addition? Kili Kol Aretz. It says in the pasuk there. We went through that there's a bris Torah that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is makabel. Im Shema Tishmo B'Koli V'Shmartem Esbrisi bris Torah. Then you'll be the school of Amim Kili Kol Aretz. So the pshat is like that a little bit. We're gonna get into a little bit what you were talking about. It's the hamada from Klal Yisrael Eitzel Har Sinai, like it says in the Dayanos and in the Haggadah. Ilu Karveno Lefnei Har Sinai V'lo Nasan Lanu Esoterah. So Dayenu, how could that be? What's the Karvenu without the Dayenu? So that's the Gemara in Shabbos. That's that by Har Sinai, the Hamada by Har Sinai was Paskas Umos. And the Gemara asks, why Klal Yisrael were not Muzuhamim and okay, let's hear something like this. Kufman. So the Gemara says, why was Klal Yisrael not Muzuhamim and the other ummahs were Muzuhamim? So the Pshat is for Amdu, Klai Yisrael, which are Amdu Har Sinai, is Pascha Zum Osam. And Shar Umas Olam, that were not Amdu Har Sinai, is Lo Pascha Zum Osam. Now, according to what the Mahalich is, the Pshat is that this is the Yetzirah, this Klai Yisrael, this Klolius Knesset Yisrael, is the Pascha Zum Osam. That's the Madrega from Adam Marish and Kodem Achet. That Kodem Achet, that there was no Iruv. There was no Misa. You understand? There was no Misa, and we're equating the Zuma with the Misa, and then that was just the Hamara, just the Bechira from Klai Yisrael. So that's when Yom Sheni of Sivan. The Yom Sheni of Sivan of Shanas Mamela. That's when Kosh Baruch Hu said Im Shama Tishma Atam Tiyuli Mamlechas Gani V'Goy Kodesh. So that's Am Segula. Is going to be the Pshat that on that's before the Nesina Sater. Asher Bachar Bono. When Hakadosh Baruch was Asher Bachar Bono, just the Hamada by Har Sinai. Ilu Kirvenu Lifnei Har Sinai V'Lo Nosan Lano Sater Dayenu B'Shas Enachanami. That's a Gras Madrega. It's a Gras Zach. The Pshat is that even if we didn't get the Torah, but we had a Hamada from Har Sinai, so the Pshat, so that's a tremendous Madrega of the Am Segula, which is the Aser Chaviv Mikol from all the other people, but it's a tremendous zach there. It's a nifle. Now this Misa, what happened? But just like by Adam Arishan, after the Chet, he was nigrash from Gan Eden. He was nigrash from Gan Eden. So too, the Pshat is that the Klai Yisrael, after the Chet from the Egel, the Pshat is that they were no longer able to stay, and they were no longer able to. The Archaim brings, the Archaim HaKadosh brings down what's the Pshat in Am Segula. So he brings that whole bunch of different Pshatim, but the Pshat is one of the Pshat is, dear Lamash Amra Chazal. And says in Avodah Zarah, Yisrael she'amdu Har Sinai Pascha Zum Osam, v'zu hi askulos mikol ha'amim shelo Pascha Zum Osam. Yermes Seisa Elyon. So there's also very deep things. L'fi Masha Kidam La'ano Ki Anfi HaKedusha is Pascha Ba'olam. The pshat is that it happens to be that the Anfei Kedusha, the parts of Kedusha, after the Chet from Adam Rishon, there was an Eruv of Tov and Ra. That's what was accomplished through the Chet from Adam Rishon. Before Adam Rishon was the Chet, there was only the Ra was outside of Adam Rishon. He had a Bechira, obviously, and you see that he did a Chet, whatever. So he had a Bechira, but that Bechira was not a part of him, inside of him. He was a Kuli Tov, and the Ra was outside, and that's the way it worked. After he made the Chet, so it was Nisariv in the ganze Bria Tov and a Ra together. He ate from the Eitz Adas Tov and Ra, and Mamela that created an Eruv in the ganze Bria Olam. So that's Meki Anfei HaKedusha Nispazu Olam. The Anfei Kedusha became throughout the whole world. Now there was this. There were parts of the Kedusha and Tov and Ra and Eruv. V'heim etzias lehem lizbar zulas b'emsos Yisrael. So that's what we're saying now, that this is Otzer Chaviv. Why? Because Klai Yisrael is Otzer Chaviv, because the tikkun of the Welt of B'Shvil Torah B'Shvil Yisrael only comes through Klai Yisrael. Can only come through Klai Yisrael, their avoda. And that's why, and that's they're the only ones that can inspire Zula, the inspire these, what we could inspire the tzaltzis kedusha. Obiyaser be'emsos eisek hatera, and the main thing is eisek hatera. The eisek hatera, so it's very good. So it's you hear good the chumash over here when it says in pasuk hey, im shama tishmu bekoli. In Mekablo, this is Shmartem, it's Brisi, and Rashi says you Mashama the Bris Torah, you Shama the Bris Torah, so very good. You Shama the Bris Torah, so that's the way to Masakin. Now everything is Masukin, everything now in Har Sinai before the Chet Egel. It's like Adam Rishon before the Chet Egel. But Shenken after the Chet of Adam Rishon, when there's an Erev Tavara, and now you have after the Chet of before the Chet of the Egel. So there was the Seikatimsa for Klai Yisrael. He ke'evan hashoavas litzotzis b'makom shehem. that if Klal Yisrael would have not done the Chet Egel, so they would have been able to make this tikkun in the world, the tikkun in the Welt of B'Shvil Torah, B'Shvil Yisrael, B'Shvil Torah, would have been able to do it through just sitting in Eretz Yisrael. You sit in Eretz Yisrael, you learn Torah, and the Pshas and now with Masak in the ganze Welt. Very good, beautiful. Mashenke, what happened is after the Chet, it was nispared all that ability for Klal Yisrael to misakin the Welt for just sitting and learning the Torah in Eretz Yisrael. So Pshas that was compromised. That was compromised. So that was like the Girush of Adam Rishon out of Gan Eden was the Girush was the Bechinas Golus in Klal Yisrael. After the Chet from Egel, so Pshas from Mamela it became a Bechinas Golus in Klal Yisrael. Even if we're not, you're not aware of it, but that was a Bechinas Golus in Klal Yisrael now, because now you can't just sit around. You can't sit and Basmar Rabbah and Eretz Yisrael be masak in the village. Forget it. There has to be more. You have to go more his carvis to the ear of Tavara. So Mamela, that's a different thing. It's like he equates it to like a magnet. You got the magnet has to come closer. It does not. You can't have it from a certain distance, right? It has to be a certain proximity to the thing in order to draw it. Okay. Ki heim havayas skula mikola amim asher nefutzu sham. So when you go out in the world, we're now in the futzos and the ganze Welt, we have to have this bechinas golus in order to masakin and the tovara, this era from tovara. That's which is the tikkun of the Welt is the masakin be'emsos hatara k'maymarim zalve k'moshe k'savne kama pami madvarim be'maisim mitzrayim v'amra ki li kol haaretz. So that's why the Rivash ends off the pasuk ki li kol haaretz. Chan remesh yesh lo segula mefuzaris b'chol haaretz. You can still be masakin. You can still be masakin, but the b'shayis, but you can't be masakin the gamrei. Shtei that's why you can't be masakin the gamrei until you have Melech HaMashiach and you have a Binyan Beis HaMikdash and you have Kibbutz Kol HaGolius. So you're not going to be able to say you need back to that matzov, but you can masakin certain things. And that's a me'ein, a dogma of the other Marishan who was nigrish from Gan Eden, who was not able to be masakin anything anymore. He was not able to be masakin. Mameli had to leave Gan Eden. So Klal Yisrael, we are also in the present matzov from Golus, no matter where we are. And if Shas and Mamela, Shas, we need that we have a certain ability to be masakin a little bit, but not. It's interesting. It's a santa zach. V'zet ham pizer Yisrael ba'arba ruchas olam. So that's the very pasha zach. We need to be in the sponsor ba'arba ruchas olam in order to be sakin, to try to be sakin as much as we can and take away and to separate the ra from the tov and the tov and the ra. That's the idea. So I was mentioning to you the pshat is that this idea from a once there is an era of Tovara in the Bria, so that's the Indian of brachas. Right? I once told you that Bnei Yisroel, I asked the Kasha when it says that the Gemara says how Minayin that you make a bracha on Reach, and the Gemara brings down a pasuk in brachas. So the Gemara says we're going to call the neshama the hallow called neshama is the nanabo. So the Pshai so fractive Bnei Yisroel. What do you mean? What kind of bracha? It says asal lahenes me'olam hazeh v'lo bracha. So he says that the havamina was in the Gemara. The very good havamina was that the carrot, the whole idea of making a bracha was to separate the tov and the ra, the ear of tov and ra that came from the chet from Adam Rishon. Abazay, which now like what we're saying comes from the chet after the chet ego was saritzim that matzav. So you need to have golus. You need to be arba ruchas aram, and you need to make brachas. You need to make brachas in order to be masakin and try to separate a little bit the tov and the ra. And so he goes on to say. Kan remesh yesh lo skula mefuzaris b'chol haaretz v'zeh tam pizer Yisrael ba'arba ruchas ha'olam la'achzer acher hasegula shehi avedosam. We're trying to reacquire reacquire ourselves. So when we're in the world and we're using things and we make brachas and b'shas, we're separating. We have to use a b'kedusha, so we're separating a tov from ra. That's what we're doing here. That's the tikkun. That's Bereishis b'shvil Torah b'shvil Yisrael. When we shvil Torah, so you say what's ain't talk to some of the tzvei. The Torah says no, but that is the tikkun of bria. That's the tachlis of bria is the tikkun of bria. Don't you understand? The tachlis is tikkun. So in Meilat of Shas, that's what it means. V'hirei zulus avanim shal Yisrael hayi yicholim asagas adaber below pizer be'olam. Without the chet from Klal Yisrael, without the chet from Egel. So the pshas you could do that without just sitting in Eretz Yisrael, and whatever, no matter where the kedusha, the karchas of kedusha are, or whatever, even if they're chapai certain karchas atoma, but the pshas you could do it. You could be saking that through the Torah Eretz Yisrael. Ela bekarch otzem tayrosu hayim molchim v'chol olam u'mashovim kol bechinas hakedushas b'kol bakam shehem. The etz otzem mamish kedushas atera. Ubamsos hachet tosh kochem. It was a tosh kochem. We don't have that ability anymore. We can misakin whatever we can misakin, but not the kengrosa zachen we can't do. But tzrichim l'redes shamol levara tavahu. So even when he says you have to go in Metzias, you have to physically go into different parts of the world to misakin. But this is not Chabad over here. This is that's spreading the other way. But doing that is part of the world. We have to be in a bechinas golus in order to misakin what we can be misakin. But it's tosh kocha. We're not able to misakin in ganzen until this. So that the Gemara says, Alma of the Aretz. Alma of the Aretz shel bircha berchas ateret tchila. So this is very good. It's a beautiful thing. Is Alma of the Aretz is the pshat that there was the golus. Alma of the Aretz. Why is there golus? Because what's the bracha in the Torah? We're talking the idea of bracha is in order to separate the Torah from the Ra, and the bracha of Birchas min Torah is Birchas Torah. Birchas Muslim, but Birchas Torah is that this is the Ikar bracha. So and that bracha idea is in order to separate the Torah from the Ra, in order, like we're saying. So in Meilat of Shas of the Aretz, why was there such a physical goal is that we have to go like this? Ashlo Bircha with the Birchas Tachila. Frakta Maharal, what do you mean? You think the Pshas that didn't make the Birchas Torah? How you talking? That the Heilige Amaroim tonight didn't make Birchas brachas and Tchila. They didn't make Birchas Torah. Of course they did, but they didn't make it with the right kavan in order to be masakin what they were supposed to masakin. Because this is the idea. The whole idea is that you have to now go. There's a tremendous avoda in order to separate the Tov and the Ra, which I think the Ramchal also says. The Pshat is that the Asmunis, he says that this is something where we're compromised and our ability to masakin is compromised, and we could do whatever we could do, but the Pshat is, it's not as effective as we would like it to be. You understand? We could lessen the grip of the kochas of Ra with Tov together, or you can. But in Lasid Lava, when it would have been in Har Sinai had there not been a chet from the chet to Egel, so the Pshat would have been this gavras, tremendous gavras of the Tov over the Ra. There would have been a bitul Ra. There would have been this gavras of Tov Ra. No shaykhs, no. The Ra would not exist. And that's what's going to exist when Melech HaMashiach comes, when you have when you have a kibbutz goliath, because then we don't need to be in the spazer into the Ummos Olam anymore. We don't need that. But right now, this is where this is the matzav Ashalo Birchas Torah Techila, because that Birchas Torah through the Torah, it's only through the Torah that you masak in the belt. It's only through the Birchas Torah that you can now this. And that's what's going on here. That's exactly what the Rebbeinu Shalom told us. Shmartem es brisi, isi li segula mikol ha'amim. You want to be a segula mikol ha'amim, that you're able to be masak in the vel. You're able to mekayim tachlis the vel, the tachlis of Bereishis b'shvil Torah b'shvil Yisrael. So that you guys, we have it. We have the Am Segula, but we're not able to be effective. Now, once there's a Chet, we're not able to be as effective as we would like. And we try in this, but again, there's a madregas that, like the Ramchal says, is the madregas that you can shvak up the Ra, but sometimes you're not able to go and completely separate the Tov from the Ra. And it comes out, according to this, the Pshat said even in Teres Yisrael, you can have somebody that you can have Teres Yisrael. There could be the Karchas Hara can chap on to the Teres Yisrael. The Karchas Hara. That's why that I think that Mochi Yosef I saw that this idea of Ve'elu Divrei Elokim Chayim, the Pshat after Rava doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist. It could be, but it's not Mukhrach. You understand? So the Pshat, why? What do you mean? So what happened? Because that now the Karchas Hara are not. You don't know. You can't know when. You have to be able to separate the Tov Gomor, the Ein Tov Elatera. Ki lecha Tov Nasati Lechem Ein Tov Elatera. And Mamela the Pshat, so that's this whole avoda from Knesset Yisrael, is the Am Segula, which was the Otzer Chavi, which can be Mesak in the Welt of the Al Yedei the Teresenu Hakadosha, but it's a shver avoda, it's compromised, and that's how Shlo Bircha, even the Tanoim Amroim, Shlo Bircha B'Ter Tchila. There's a pshat that they were not able to completely masakin what was necessary to be masakin. There's a certain amount of kochas kedusha that need to be masakin reish peivov, shteiter and svarim. But the pshat is that those kochas some we can do, some we can't. Sometimes go back, and this we have to go get them out of the hole, the chisa from what? Vav. So that's what's going on here. So all this is what the Ma'amid Har Sinai of just the Hamada before that's a mafil and Sinas Atar, which is very nifli to Gezak. This is leaving Kol Ami. This is the what's it called, the Orech Chaim HaKadosh, and very, very interesting. So there is a Gemara in Tamura that's Lord, what we're saying, it's very good, because Gemara in Tamura Tazov, I think Amabay says that by a tzibur there's no misa, a misa but tzibur. And talking about Knesset Yisrael, the tzibur of Knesset Yisrael, there's no misa. Why? Because be'etzem the Knesset Yisrael is that yichud. It didn't. We're not now not a yichud. It's just it's upgeschwacht the kochas of Knesset Yisrael. As we still are the Yesh Shishi Riba Osis Latar. We're still that kibur from Am Segula, but we're not able to be po as much because it was our compromise the kochas of Klal Yisrael. But be'etzem. The etzem is the pshat that, and that's what it means. That the pshat is that amei kulam tzadikim. The pshat is only the sur shebeisa. By the umas olam is it's a niflediga. You're going to have the machshava maraz matzdarv lamaisa, because those are be'etzem atzmius masha enke by Klal Yisrael. The atzmius is not the machshava ra. It's the pshat is something which is not part of it, not be'etzem part of it. Right? It's just the sur shebeisa. It's the exterior influence in the pshat, which is hard, which is schwer, which is kosher. But the pshat, but enachanami be'etzem we're like am echod. The am echod, so the pshat that's no misa. Why? Because what's misa? Misa is that period. Is the pshat is that's the pizur from the and the beginner's golus between when the rad the kochas around the kochas atov are entangled. Masha Enkain, the pshat is but be'etzem is amei kulam tzadikim. Is amei kulam tzadikim. So that's there's no bechinas misa. But tzibur ein misa. There's no bechinas misa by tzibur. I went over. All right.
Well, what's the cheshbon reish piv?